What's up, chat? How we doing? What's up, Akin? Good to see you in the chat. Sorry, I was just sharing everything to the socials, letting everybody know we're live. Let me know if you can hear me as well, if the sensitivity needs to be turned up or if we're all good. You let me know. I'll turn it up a little bit. There's a lot of background noise today. So what about the music? I always feel like the music's a bit quiet. We'll try that. Buongiorno. Let's try to sleep out. What's good? What's good? So I always like on live streams to try and try a different, try out some of the other grips that I have that I don't use quite as much. So we're going to use the sort of nimble sleeve instead, which I'm not sure it's going to focus, but it's a bit of a nightmare to get into it, but once you get your pencil in, it's all good. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Who's here then? Who we got in the chat? Let me know if you're hanging out with us this evening or wherever you are, whatever it is. Afternoon, morning, whatever it may be. What are we doing? What are we doing? It's never normally in the way or never normally in shot. Is that moved? I feel like that's moved a little bit. It's never normally in shot. Why is that in? Is this moved? Hold up. Let's move that across just a little bit. Right, let's see what we're doing. Where's the music gone? This happened last week where the music decided to stop working for whatever reason. Okay, hold fire. Bear with me 2 secs. Let's quit that. Let's find Spotify. Bear with me, folks, and then we'll get to drawing. Working perfectly fine until you decide to hit the live button and then it decides to stop. We might be with a musicless stream today. We'll see what happens. What's up, Milo? How are you doing? Good to see you, and I'm very good. Thank you for asking. Just trying to get the music sorted before we get started. It decided to stop the second we decided to hit the button. Okay, I think we're getting there. Yeah, there's a little bit of music. Okay, hopefully that sorts itself out. Alright, cool. Let's carry on anyway. Anyway, today I had no idea what to draw today. So what I decided to do was, I've used this a few times in terms of just random idea creation sort of thing. And so there's lots of websites out there. I don't like a lot of them. There's only a few that I like in terms of random idea generators. Excuse me. But this one This one's cool because it gives you like multiple kind of scenarios in a way. It gives you a scenario, you know, like the Earth, and then something about it, which is pretty cool. Which means, you know, we've got something to use, we've got some sort of idea. So this was one that it landed on when I first opened the page, which I thought was particularly cool, right up my alley kind of thing. But we'll go on anyway, but we'll remember this one. But I think it's a particularly good thing to have at your arsenal, so that you can, like, if you're stuck creatively, just use a random idea generator, jump back to Procreate, and just see what you can put together that matches up to that kind of thing. So let's just see what we can do. I'm gonna blast through them. We'll find one that we like, and then we'll just start drawing. Maybe use the Coolers app to find some nice colours. So, like, just cool random things. So a giant mouse fighting a bunch of tiny elephants. Pepe the Frog of tiny elephants. Okay, that's weird. Donuts crying because their filling is leaking. That could be a good one. I guess like a donut with a bite out of it, and therefore there's like a little bit of the inside leaking, so a little bit of the jam. That's not a bad one. That could be quite fun. Let's see what else we got. A cat with a cup on her head. Filling is leaking. See, that one doesn't make any sense, but we'll roll on from that one anyway. Elf captured by a witch. Why is this bottom line still here? There we go. Do you know what? Let's refresh this, because that looks like that's got really like randomly stuck. A naked mole rat with tattoos. Let's carry on. Oh, your mum as a kid. A cat dancing on the moon. A very, very detailed potato. Okay, we'll see what else we can find. A man made of fire potato. Why is potato in? Draw a bunch of dots, connect them, and try to figure out what it looks like. That's a good idea for like a doodle challenge. We could do that. Saturn essentially taking off its rings. It's kind of an interesting concept. Yeah, I think the dot idea is a pretty good one. Okay. A monster energy drink as a real monster. Okay. Hamster cyborg samurai. It's pretty weird, but it's a pretty cool idea. Hamster cyborg samurai. So I imagine, like, you know, it with its head down, hamster like looking down, and then like something coming over the eye, like a little screen of some sort. And then obviously a samurai costume as well. But maybe the samurai costume has like electrical lines in it, kind of thing. I mean, this is kind of the coolest one, I think, to be honest with you. So I think we're going to just roll with this. So what we'll do is, let's just go to here a second, and then let's find a hamster. So hold fire. Okay, so let's see if we can find an image of a hamster that is kind of the sort of right posture and position. We'll use a real life photo to sort of get us started, and then we'll work off of there. So I want one where it's like could be looking at us. That is fine. I think it could also sort of be looking down, which would be ideal. But if it's looking, I guess we've got more options with the actual the actual sort of face and add in the cyborg kind of stuff. This one here is actually taking my fancy a little bit, because it's kind of upright, which looks pretty cool. So I think maybe we'll roll with this one and we'll copy that. And I believe we've got Procreate open here. We do. So let's paste in the picture of the hamster, make it nice and big. This is going to be really random, so it should work out kind of cool though. Make it quite nice and sort of cartoony. Let's roll that across. Let's close that. Let's go for a samurai. Okay, so we want to make this kind of quite close in terms of the styling, obviously. So I've done a samurai before and it was kind of similar to this, where we have like all these pieces of metal. I think we could roll with that as well. That could look pretty cool. But we need a samurai in kind of a similar posture as a hamster. I know that's a weird thing to say. Weirdly, this one is looking kind of cool because it's got sort of the rounded shoulders on it, so we can see all the pieces of metal and get an idea that you could easily see the hamster's face there. Catherine says, hi, I wanted to ask a question. Whatever happened to Cooper astronaut series? I really enjoyed that one. I love your work too. Just thought I'd ask. It's cool. We actually somewhat revised the series a little bit a couple of weeks ago on stream, where it's more sort of the back end stuff of, it's not so much Cooper and his designs and whatnot. It's more so the comic book side of things has now been revamped. Basically, every episode I was doing, I was conscious that I needed to make sure you knew how each one linked to the last one and like the storyline. And so we worked out a way where, 2 seconds and I'll show you. Let me just flick this back around and let me just show you the work that we put in when we redid the Cooper series. So basically, we changed it up a little bit, where we've now got the front cover. That's fine, you can download that, you know, it's just an explanation sort of poster basically. And then each episode now is going to consist of maybe a couple of things. That's what it is. This is too low and therefore you guys are not seeing that properly. See, look, it's normally just out of frame. So yeah, so each episode now will consist of a new page, and one of the tiles on the page of the comic you will drop your tutorial into. So you'll drop your tutorial into here, but there'll be potentially other images that, as it says there, you can color it in, so do whatever you want to it. So it's kind of like a two-parter now. Each episode of the Cooper series will be a two-parter. So like that was page 1, this is page 2. So this is technically the front cover, but this is another page that you can color in if you want to. It's totally up to you. Page 3 is a mix of tutorial 4 and 5, because they actually link together nicely, so they can go together. 4 is also the same, but for example, we started sketching out a few bits that could happen with Cooper in terms of you know, another episode. But again, you're going to get a few different images to color in while you're you know, participating in the Cooper series. So there'll be more to do, and it'll be more fun, because it will mean that you'll do a particular image in the series, but I can get you to that point, if that makes sense. So what the color me in ones are is me being able to sort of, where it's maybe a really boring part where it's got to get from the last tutorial to the next tutorial, everything in between, you know, maybe Cooper walking across whatever and maybe climbing something else, or seeing something on the floor, something really minor that's not worth a tutorial, and then you will drop it in the actual tutorial as in there, so they're the main scene of that page. So this one here, he's just looking at the portal, but you know, that's not the main part. It's just like another angle, you know, part of a storyline, quite literally a storyboard, and you fill in the main part, and the rest you can just color in and have some fun with it. So CC, I'm not ignoring you, love. I can see you in the chat. Good to see you with your nice green membership badge. Okay, let's, for a second, that answers your question, Catherine. That's all good. He will be coming back. He will be coming back. So we used the random image generator, not image generator, the random idea generator a second ago, and we got a very peculiar concept of a hamster cyborg samurai. So we're just going to go in now and grab some imagery that we were going to use as like a reference sort of photo. So this is a pretty cool photo, so I'm going to copy this and we'll go back to Procreate, paste down with 3 fingers, and these are just sort of reference images, just to give you an idea of the subject. So I can, for example, let's just scale this up. Troy dropped into the chat and has gifted us 10 memberships. So guys, be sure to thank Troy if you get a membership. See, my view counter is not updating, so I can see that pretty much nearly 10 of you got your memberships, but my view count is showing 6. Troy, I appreciate my friend dropping in and sharing some love in the chat and giving us 10 memberships. Guys, everybody in the chat, Roxanne, Adrilli, Berta, G Create, Matt, Wendy, Michael, Paul, Celeste, and Funky, you've all been gifted a membership. Whether or not you're here or not, I'm not sure, but be sure to thank Troy in the chat. Troy, as always, I appreciate you, my friend, always sharing the love every week, like gifting some memberships to the community. Actually, I'm going to make this a bit smaller because I need to keep the rest of the image in here. What's up, Tarkizio? How are you doing? Okay, cool. So this is going to be kind of a cool concept. I think we'll drop the background to white and we'll get to work on sort of sketching out everything we want to do. And we can do it in a nice blue. Quite enjoying doing like sort of sketches to start with these days. Just to sort of get the concept right. So the hamster itself, we've got a little nose bridge here, runs obviously straight into the eyes, so I'm going to make it quite sort of cartoony, maybe I guess a bit Dragon Ball Z-ish. I guess I'm guessing a gift is like a sub on Twitch, exactly that. So a membership, Zachary, is exactly the same thing. You're a member of the channel, and you get extra emojis in the chat. You get sort of custom ones, and you also in the comments on all my YouTube videos get a little badge beside your name. So you can see there, Cece's got a little green one, which means that is from memory, that's the 3rd tier. So it goes from navy to blue to green, and then I've got bronze, such as Troy. It then goes silver, and then it goes gold as well after a longer duration. So yeah, it's exactly like Twitch, little Twitch membership kind of thing. So we're gonna use the mouth as a guide there. That's cool. Let's take a look at its facial features. So we've got a nice little sort of chin area. We want to capture those sort of nice rounded cheeks, or probably a bit more accurate than that. There we go. Yeah, YouTube's had that for a little while now, to be fair. They're trying to play catch up with Twitch. I was at one point streaming on Twitch, but you know, it makes more sense for me to do it here where I've already got an audience, sort of thing, and it's good. Leave on the channel, people like to see it. So we're just going to sketch out a little bit around here. I think at this point, going around the hamster sort of face, we are going to hang on, let's change the color. We're going to end up getting to a point where we need to start thinking about the body position. So as the title suggests, guys, if you're just joining, this is a random sort of idea generator. It's going to be a hamster samurai cyborg, so it's going to be kind of cool to put together. It's going to be very random. We'll see how it gets on. So body position, we've got arms here. I want to sort of make them a bit more apparent, to curve them into here a bit more, make them a bit rounder. And then got the fingers, which I'm not sure how much detail we're going to get in. And then we're just going to round off the body here on either side, across the ground. very quick sort of sketching this out. We'll just copy and paste that because I can't see the other side. I'm quite looking forward to this one actually. This is going to be kind of cool just to see how it comes out and what we can work on. So let's go to here. Let's lower the opacity down of the hamster and I can see my sketch. That's cool. Okay, so then we're going to look at the samurai. Gonna duplicate him a second. So annoying thing with Procreate, which is something that actually bugs me quite a bit, is when you move something, say, off to the left hand side here, this little bit of the excess on the left hand side is immediately cropped. So then if I tap that and then bring it back in, it's gone. It's one thing I don't like because I'm so used to like Photoshop. So let's get rid of this a second just so I can see it, and then just start to see what we can draw maybe on top of our hamster. So seeing how we can sort of make the body work with the clothing. Guys, it's gonna be so weird, but it could be cool. It's nice to do something random now and again, just so that you're kind of pushing yourself a little bit more. Okay, so let's look at the samurai. We've got the hat on the top, which I think would be cool if the hat was there, but there was cutouts for the ears. So this bit here, where it sort of comes out a little bit and then tucks in behind the head, comes just behind the ear. So maybe we sort of like bring that in and then round the back, maybe a little bit like that. And likewise here too, so just a little bit like this. That may be a little bit too large, but it's only a sketch for now. And then we have the sort of top of the hat go across here. We'll leave a gap for the ears, but then we're going to add in the top. Sort of sketch out the lines of the hat. And then it's got this really cool sort of disc on the top where it's a sort of circle. Ooh, it's a circle. And then another circle just within it. Something a little bit like this. Yeah, I can't stand that about Procreate with the cropping. Fair enough, Zachary. Yeah, it does my head in as well. Especially when you got like just like you just want to move something out of the way for a second, and you know, like I've had to duplicate the layer, which is annoying, but you know, I guess it's very minor, isn't it? But it is what it is. So I'm looking at the back of the hands here, and there's this like cover, so it's like a big knuckle cover, some sort of glove material there, and then these sort of straights on the arms, followed by these bits on the top of the arms. So looking at the position of our little hamster, well, hang on, first of all, I suppose I should do under the neck and identify, do we cover the mouth up with like a mask? So we do like a, I've done one before where the mask was somewhat like this. So just imagine that, and if I masked this out a second. If we were to mask this out, what would it look like? At the minute it looks like he's got like a torch on his head and is going like down into like a miner or sort of thing. Only thing with that is, will it be obvious it's a hamster? We'll see. Let me know if you're here in the chat. My view counter is not working. Can I refresh that? Exactly, Milo. Exactly the same as that one. It's opened over there. I've got two desks on that, so it's separate. So sometimes I open a window and it opens on the desk behind me. Okay, let's just cross that out and let's just close that, cut that completely. up, Zachary. If you do a mask, you should do a cyborg mask of some sort. So I'm thinking, you know, like on, is it, I can't remember who it was, and literally correct me if I'm wrong, if there's anybody here that watches it, but when, I think it's, was it Vegeta? No, is it Vegeta's family or people from his planet or something like that, where they've got like a, you remember like the Google glasses back in the day where they had like a big bit of glass over the eye kind of thing. But I'm also thinking, typical me, that like I would, in his armor, make it like have like neon sort of electricity sort of lines, which could look really cool. Yeah, let's see how we go. Okay, so we've got this big mane here, and then under here needs to be sort of shoulder panels. A little bit like this. So we've got 4 there, followed by 1. So the shoulders are obviously going to sit in front of the bit on the back, so I can actually bring that around onto the front. And we'll do the same over here. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then bring that one across. Okay, that side's looking a bit janky, but we'll make it work. It looked a bit small, but the it's the what's it called? The not proportions, the angle that we're looking at it at. It's a bit weird, isn't it? We'll work it out. What's up, Funky? How are you doing? We are doing a random idea generator, and the random idea was a samurai hamster cyborg. It was the most interesting out of all of them, so we're here. That's what we're doing. Foreshortening. Okay, so the arms and stuff, the hands are gonna have like a bit of a mitt over the top of the knuckles. So we're gonna draw that in here, and then just this is just straight lines over the top of what will be then the fingers. That's fine. Let's bring this line across a little bit more, and likewise we'll also bring the, oh no, because that is the line, isn't it? Introduce that. We want like a little pad across the knuckles. Once we get past the sketch stage, it should be pretty fun to then just try and work out how this is going to look with it's going to look so weird because it's going to look so fat. What's up, Jay? How are you doing? Good to see you. Good. Okay, the body is nothing but long horizontal wide bits under the armpit, so it's going to go sort of round here. So I guess it's going to sort of loop round here and here. This is just sort of clothing in round here, and then the whole rest of it, we're going to have to give him like a patch here, like this bit here. There's 2 usually on either side to cover up his manhood. This is so weird because of the body positioning. see, usually these ones cover close to like the inner thigh, top of the thigh. You don't really have any thighs. We'll see what the mask looks like. Maybe we'll remove it. It could look pretty good. It may not. It's all good. We'll see how it comes out. Beauty of the digital art, isn't it? It's the fact that we can just try out everything we want and then come back to it, change it if we wish. So the rest of his body is going to be under here, so that's going to be sort of clothing. So these bits here are going to come round to there and then just sort of continue through his body. Let's see what we can achieve here. I'm thinking, so we're working on combining all the concept together first, because if we work out the concept in terms of just getting in, you know, the fundamentals of the samurai outfit, as well as the hamster sort of positioning and stuff, we can see what else we can add in then on the cyborg side of things. So we can just completely sort of not abandon, but you know, ditch some of the stuff that we've put in here that we don't like and put in some cyborg stuff. I might just leave his feet exposed. I think that looks fine. What's up, E-Rose? Any tips on how to get better at digital art? I've been doing abstract digital art for a few years now, and I have an idea to possibly apply for an art foundation course when I finish school, or any general tips would be super. Rose, what is it you plan on trying to do? Is it Procreate? Is it Photoshop? What sort of area? Are you going to try and do illustration? Are you going to try and do, you know, more like web design? I don't know what sort of digital. Just try and specify the area first, and I'll let you know. Okay, that looks cool. I'm happy with this. It's coming along now nicely. So, Procreate. Okay, so if you're just going to use Procreate, and I guess you're just going to be drawing in general, abstract digital art. Truth be told, firstly, how long have you been you've been doing abstract digital art for a few years now, and have an idea to possibly apply for an art foundation? Have you been using Procreate for a couple of years, or how long have you been using Procreate for? You have been using Procreate for a couple of years. Okay, so I'm assuming you already know quite a bit about Procreate potentially, so I'm not sure if tutorials are maybe for you, but maybe they are. The thing is with doing tutorials is there will be the odd, and I remember specifically doing this myself, there is going to be odd little bits and bobs that you pick up over the years that will be or each tutorial of how people do certain things. Somebody said to me last week, and it was like, you know, what I've drilled into them about highlights and shadows and stuff like that. Now obviously you're doing abstract art, which is cool because the rules are a bit looser. But what you're trying to work into is how to kind of distort images to create very, you know, unique styles, and of course abstract styles. So what I would say is, firstly, and I recommend this app all the time because I can't praise it enough really, there's an app called Sketchaday, and what I would do is I would set yourself a style, you know, whether it's like, I don't know, big and blocky, something like that. Set yourself a style for a whole week, or even 2 weeks, or even a month. and use the Sketch a Day app. So it's Sketch a Day, and basically every day there's a new topic. So I think like one of them yesterday was like comics or something, or there was another one the other day. Is it Marvel? I can't remember. Anyway, it was one of them. But each day there's a new topic, and you draw something and submit it to the app. People can like it, comment on it, blah blah blah. You can get a little following on there and stuff. But the point is if you kind of need to find, I'm guessing you, but from what you told me, is you kind of need to find a bit like your style. Because if you're going to do a course, I presume is to do like sort of further education on it. What I would do is, like I said, I would look for abstract artists that you like the look of, and then use the Sketch a Day app for like a week or two and draw everything in that style. Or to break it down in a nutshell, to get good at art in any form is practice and consistency. So practice being you can't get better without just drawing and drawing and drawing like over and over again. The other thing being as well, you need to be consistent. Sorry, but what was the other word? God, I've completely had a brain fart there because I just looked at that. Sorry, but yeah, practice and consistency of style at the same time. So if you can draw something in the Sketch a Day app in a particular style for a whole week, and then change it the next week, find a style that you put then from a different artist and try and replicate it, and then you never know, by say the time you've done that for say 6 weeks, by the 7th week you'll know bits and bobs that you liked and how you went about doing them, and then do a whole week in a style that you're going to curate. You decide the rules, you decide how things are going to work, how you'll distort colours, how you'll distort imagery and faces or objects in whatever way. But the practice will constantly take you down different avenues. You'll be practicing the whole style, and then you'll do one thing that you like the look of, and then you'll sort of take that avenue and you'll follow that avenue for a little while that you like the look of that, and then you'll do something again that you change it in a way, and then again that takes you down a different route. But it's all learning what you like. So that would be my advice really, in terms of just that. It's practice and consistency. Even if you you can spend 10 minutes, even just sketch it out from the Sketch a Day app. Like take the concept and just sketch it out. Come back to it when you get a bit more time. But drawing every day is the best way that you can do that. Whether it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes, just give yourself a certain amount of time. Even set a timer if that's the best way you can do it, so that you can just get as much done in 10 minutes as possible. Especially with abstract stuff there, because you would have to be quick. You're gonna have to be like boom, bam, bam, creating all the line work, changing it, distorting it, and because you're doing it kind of quickly, maybe you'll do a face in a slightly, like I'm just using a face as an example, but you'll do a face in a slightly crooked way or something that maybe you like the look of. So like, we call them in the chat, and especially it's not my saying, but it's Bob Ross's saying of happy accidents. If you try and set yourself to do a drawing in 5 minutes based off of the topic, again you'll be like oof, 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 and you'll be drawing all the lines out, and then you may distort an eye, for example, in a certain way that you really like the look of. It's kind of quirky, and that's happy accidents. They're always the best way. So just practicing, and if you can find someone that teaches your style, just dive all in on it. Like find their YouTube channel, or find a course that they do maybe on Skillshare. Skillshare is a really good website. Otherwise, you can go on there and there's loads of courses from super talented people. But yeah, I'd go check that out for sure. But that's my kind of long-winded answer. I'm sorry if that's a little bit long, but it's all about practice. All about the practice, I'm afraid. So more so time, I guess, time management as well, to sort of allocate yourself time to draw every day. Okay, so apologies for the long answer, but sometimes I find it a bit tricky sometimes to get my words out, so I hope you stuck around with me there for a minute. Okay, I'm going to just pop him back close to our stencil of the hamster underneath. Let's just move him there, and let's then turn that off. Oh, maybe we'll draw like a blade on the back or something afterwards as well. Okay, so let's actually grab the hamster a second and let's grab the colours from it. Hey Google, cancel. Just heard me talking and decided to start chucking recommendations at me. Okay, let's grab some colours from it. If you can do a course, that's pretty cool. That's good dedication if you're going to really go for it. I suppose the only thing to work out is what's the end goal of that? Is it to do commissions? Is it to, yeah, what's going to be the end goal for that whole journey? Okay, so we've got some colours in there. I'm thinking quite a cartoony style anyway, because it would give me a much easier time to draw. So we're going to start drawing this out. Oh, actually, let's just try to think first of all. Let's draw another layer above everything. Let's try and then work out the cyborg side of things. So I'm thinking like each panel could have like a light underneath it in some way. Like I might try and take the cyborg thing and make it a little bit kind of neon-y, but that's just my vibe, isn't it? Let's try and look for a cyborg. So cyborg, that's exactly that. So I was thinking something a little bit like this, you know, comes across the eye. We've got lots of metal in here. We've got a sort of little Iron Man sort of vibe going on, a little bit of something from the heart area. We've got sort of pipes and sort of tubing, metal tubing, maybe some wires as well. Okay, so let's then take a look at this. What could we do sort of pipe wise? We could do some cool stuff in here. So let's maybe then use this layer to do exactly that. So maybe say under here we have like a pipe that maybe just runs underneath somehow. I need to work out what I can take away to add stuff in, and that's the tricky bit without losing the style too much. I mean, first of all, the eye thing, we want to incorporate that, so we're going to incorporate like a screen across the eye, a little bit something like this, followed into something round and under the cheekbone, maybe some sort of like red eye in the center of some sort. Let's make this metal, even though it's going to be somewhat sort of furry shaped. It's going to be metal in this area here. So that's going to be one thing. I'm thinking this thing at the top, this would all be like glowing kind of thing. So that would be cool. And then thinking like in each one of the panels, maybe some sort of like electrical lines with like circles on them. You know, so somewhat like a circuit board, and it creeps up the side here. We have another one, and maybe it like goes off at angles and stuff. Like another couple of dots here to create sort of the circuit side of things. Let's then go across here, up into there, sort of thing. So kind of like technical stuff. Trying to work out where we can get some wires in here. Where did we have the wires in? Somebody I saw here. So it's like in the arm. Maybe the wires ain't gonna work. Do we go with sort of the glowing center heart kind of thing? That might give me something to play around with in this area here. So kind of like Let's go for like a diamond shape maybe. Something in here, followed by some sort of like surround of sort. So that's like the gem. Anybody here watched the guest tutorial on Joel's channel? It is an awesome tutorial. It came in very last minute. We just about managed to get it done in time. But you all got that awesome tutorial. I'm thinking from here we like run those like cool electrical lines out from here, creating some cool stuff out from the center, so like the whole suit almost has like a, not an Iron Man vibe to it, but a little bits on the arms. Okay, cool. That gives me a little bit of something to roll with. I think everything's going to be like chromy instead. And I'm not sure about the mask. I think it needs to be more obvious that it's a hamster. So I think we may end up keeping the hamster part there. What are you looking forward to, sir? What did I miss? Did I miss something? No, not that pen. So we're going to use the owl pen. I really like that one where it's got on the owl line brush. I always name things after tutorials and then I forget that I've done exactly that. So I need to... what's the streamline like on this one? Okay, that's cool. That's nice, that's nice. Right, let's get sort of sketching out, or sort of now starting to draw in. I'm going to do it in white to start with. Or should I actually just change the background to like a grey? And I can draw in black. Now his fur is not going to sit in front of this piece here, so we're going to at the end as well sort of use the reference tool. So once we've done all the line work and we got it all sketched out, we can then use the reference tool nicely just to fill everything in, colour everything in. So it's going to be quite like a cartoony look. I don't want it to be like realistic in any way, obviously. Okay. Just want to tidy that line up a little bit. That's looking nice. That's a colour change. Things to note as well, like when I'm doing a sketch like this, the blue lines are like facial changes, but the green lines are fur changes. So everything in green symbolises sort of where the colour transitions between two different things. So like I'm following the blue and the orange lines, nothing to do with the other stuff. Let's try and just narrow this in a little bit. I'm thinking that that needs to be sort of a bit tidier there and a bit smaller. Nice. I like doing random things. I was saying this earlier in case anybody's just joined, but just like random things like this because it just gets you thinking a little bit. And again, I guess it kind of links to what I was saying earlier on to Rose of just drawing sort of things in, you know, Rose would be drawing things in a particular style, whereas I'm, you know, using my sort of things I've picked up to draw in something completely random, which is challenging me in that aspect. but it's challenging me to use everything I've learned, which I guess is what I was sort of getting to, is the fact of like the third week or whatever it may be, of, you know, your challenge to yourself to use all the things you've learned. Okay, so we are not gonna go ahead and do the mask. Looks like he's got a little mustache. Let's then give it a little mouth underneath. We're gonna go around. A little flick at the bottom. What's up, Void Sim? Milo, it's quite a challenge to use the generator. I think it's good practice for creativity and open to another idea. Exactly, Milo. Sometimes I need to make sure I continue to sort of challenge myself like that, to draw something random, because something cool may come out of it. You know, for all I know, this could be something where I really like the idea, and we do sort of cool stuff like this in the future. Now the eyes, I don't know whether to keep them small. I guess they look a little bit more realistic that way, or give them like a really big sort of cartoony look. So for example, that's going to go across there. And then under here, we could give it like quite a big, you know, rounded look to it, which I quite like. I quite like the look of that. Wait, is there an app for a generator? It's just a website, Void. It was a website I was using just now. It's randomthingstodo.com. So it's a hamster, cyborg, samurai. There's loads of other ones though. So under the neck here, we're just going to introduce the first piece of metal. So this is going to come across here, underneath that chin there. Yeah, that's cool. Right, let's focus on one area at a time. So I'm going to create sort of a curve. That was a wrong curve to do. That's fine. We'll bring that around on the sides. Need to do this side. Guys, if you didn't already know as well, Funky's in the chat, just started a Patreon as well. So if you are here and you're interested in Funky's tutorials already, she has started a Patreon, and so there will be more content available if you are already a fan of her work, which you obviously should be. So be sure to go check it out. Check it out. Her link is in her bio of her new link tree, and you can go ahead and support one of our past special guests. Oh, if you're a superstar supporter as well on my Patreon, you just got access this just earlier on to the tutorial that's going to be live next month over on there. So be sure to go and have a look at that. Now this center here, this is throwing me off a little bit. I don't know whether just to carry on with the non gem in the middle kind of thing. What do we think? Do we think gem in the center or not? It would be cool because it would give me a light source in the center, which would be really cool because I can start to sort of color in this side of the armor where there's a light coming from the middle, maybe a little bit underneath the chin and stuff. What do we think? I don't like the shape. It would be a circle instead. while you deliberate that, I will continue on. Oh, that line's completely wrong. That line doesn't go there. That line goes across here into here. This is like in a sense when like tattoo artists have to do like really long lines. It's not the best thing in the world. It's like it's very open to mistakes. But doing these long lines across here is a bit annoying. You think the gem in center? Okay, cool. I'll do that then. Milo, power comes from the center with neon cables connecting to other parts. We'll see about the cables, but I agree that like it would give it sort of a power source, I guess, in the center. The bottom area here, I'm going to leave it for a second. I'm not happy with sort of the feet area, so we'll come back to that. This arm here as well is going to be skinnied up a little bit till we get to sort of a bumpy, lumpy sort of knuckle area. I've got no idea how this is going to turn out, so we'll see how it goes. Let's try and just leave a gap there on the side. Cool. Okay, so we reckon the center gemstone then. Let's do that. So let's draw in, I'm going to do it on a separate layer for a second. Let's draw in a circle in the middle. We'll switch it back to the monoline brush quickly. So a couple of things. A big sort of center there, followed by another one just inside of that, which is the actual. So we needed a gap around it just so we can fit some stuff in between. This would look pretty cool if it wasn't going to be sort of very boldly outlined as well, because you could quite easily make this look very cool and quite sort of a bit more maybe realistic in a way, which is obviously quite a weird thing to say, but you could make it look quite quite graphically quite cool. Okay, so we're going to come around here, off to the side. That's another panel there, that's fine. We'll do another panel that's going to go under here and then underneath the arm, and that's it. Another panel here goes underneath, another panel around the base, which is just going to go around that. Okay, so I need to start to think about straightening up these panels because they're a bit skew. That's fine. We can roll like that. Let's go around. Let me know if you're here in the chat, because again, my chat's not updating today, so I've got no idea if you're here. So be sure to say hello in the chat if you're hanging out. What's up, Brad? How are you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for dropping in. And then we have this one here that just is going to tail off. And again, we're going to skinny it up a little bit, making it a bit closer to that one. This one at the top is again going to have to be a monoline jobby. We're going to go ahead and draw in a circle. Hold our pen. Duplicate that layer. We're going to scale it down but make them touch at the top. We're going to merge them together and we're going to erase the center. I should have changed my title really on my stream so that everybody joining has some sort of idea what it is I'm drawing. But if you are just joining, it is a Cyborg samurai hamster. It was from a random generator, as you can see from the title, and this is our results so far. Okay, right, that is all somewhat done for a second. Let's group all that stencil together and turn it off and see what we're left with. Cool. Weird, but cool. Cool. Right, let's start adding in some fine lines in here. Let's go ahead and merge everything down. So this is one thing I like with like cartoony styles is my brush size. If you reduce that right down now, we can start to introduce some sort of thinner lines. What brush have I got? The monoline. That's why. So if we drop this down to say 2% or even 1, we can start to introduce some little sort of smaller lines. See, that's not quite small enough. I'm thinking tactical pen here. And we introduce some like little bits in, say, for example, like the ear here, for example, we can just show a little bit more detail in there. Actually, to be honest, that would probably fold over on the top, wouldn't it? And then just run into the bottom half. Likewise here too, let's run over there and run it into there. What's up, Ramas? Renandez? Thanks. It's a random idea from a generator, so this isn't what I wanted to draw, believe me, but it's cool. Let's see where we go with it. Okay. Let's maybe think about some sort of... Do hamsters have whiskers? Of course they do, don't they? Of course they do, right? I'm going to leave the fine lines out. Did I make them on a separate layer? No, I didn't. Let's just start colouring him. I'll start referencing this layer, putting it at the top, and let's start putting things in place. So let's start drag and dropping colour into the face. That's cool. Here on the side, we need to sort of define the, we need to define a little bit better the cyborg side of his face. So like up here, it needs to run like there, for example. So we'll get rid of this line here. So that's the kind of metal side of things. Yes, they have whiskers. Okay. Cool. Let's start colouring in. So we want a slightly off grey for the eye. We don't want it completely. Oh, there's a gap. So this is where you start to realise you've made like little, very tiny gaps. Drop grey into that eye for a second. This is going to be like a screen, so I'm imagining that this is going to be kind of like a whitish sort of look to it. The mouth is going to be like maybe a light pink of sorts, so in there. Put a little tongue in there. The fur is going to be 2 different colours anyway, so 2 sets anyway, so we'll drop that into there. If not, let's go for the warmer tone for a second. That's fine. Again, the metal, we want like a nice grey for that. We'll drop that into that bit. The helmet and the whole body armour. I'm thinking maybe we set the background to white and then see where we go from there. One thing to do though is not do any of that. Is make sure if you're going to use the reference tool and you're going to use different colour tones, a lot of the time just separate the layers. So we're going to create a few different layers for just lots of random small things. So like the tongue, the helmet, the armor and stuff. If we set them to separate layers, we've got a lot more control. What's up, Bart? How are you doing? Good to see you. I haven't seen you in here for a while. That is metal. So that, oh, separate layer please, Joel. Let's also grab the ear colours, which I think was this one. The ears in there. We've got a little bit of fur there on the right, which is also going to be yellow. That's fine. We'll make the centre like a red. Maybe quite like a vibrant red. And then all the armor plates, separate colours as well. So I always feel like at this stage, this is kind of like my honest thoughts, is when you're doing a design and you get to this stage, arguably one, I just really hate it at the minute because I hate flat design, that's the only thing. So at this point, there's so much that we have got to do in a way to get this looking kind of cool. Highlights and shadows is always the bit that brings everything to life, makes everything look really cool, but it's always obviously one of the latter stages to do. I'm thinking then underneath we give it maybe like a dark purple or a dark sort of saturated purple maybe in these areas here, just to separate it, make it look like a piece of clothing rather than everything else. Oh damn it. So let's drag and drop the colour into these areas. But this is, I've started saying it in my tutorials a little bit, of having faith in the design. You know, like just hold fire, wait till the end, see what comes about. And it might come together, it might not. The random prompt bar was it was a hamster samurai. So that is what we're rolling with. Where is this purple layer gone? Because there's a thing that I don't like, and it's just here. This needs to be separated. So we're going to go back up to our reference. I'm going to grab the brush and just block that in again. And then we're going to go to this layer here. And we're going to erase that from there. And we're going to make that grey like the rest. Excuse me. It will come to life in a second, but I'm glad you like it at the minute. It's kind of cool. There's loads more we could do to it. We could like add scars and stuff onto the face maybe, or you know, other cool bits and bobs. So. Okay. So weird. All right, let's make the background black again. Slightly off black so I can just see my outlines a little bit. There we go. Oh, Troy with another 10 gifted memberships. I don't know how many people are in chat, so hopefully everybody gets one. Milo, John Plays, Benetia, Ala, Seth. See if we can get everybody in with a membership. If you've just received a membership, basically Troy's gifted you a membership in the chat, which is just so that you can you'll become a member. You'll have a little badge beside your name in the comments on all YouTube videos. You can use exclusive emojis and stuff, and just be sure to thank Troy in the chat. He's paid and randomly gifted out 10 memberships, so hopefully you will receive one. And yeah, thank Troy in the chat. Troy, as always, appreciate you supporting the stream and giving the love out every single week. Okay, let's work out lighting. Let's work out what's going to be a light source and what isn't. Now, looking at this so far, I'm thinking this on the top could be glowing. This screen's going to get a little bit of light off of it, and this in the center is also going to be a light source. I don't know what style I'm going to go for. Probably soft airbrush, I would imagine. But there's lots we've got to do to make this start to look cool. So only one place to start, I guess, and it's the center on the light source. So we're going to make this look kind of rounded. I'm going to roll with it. I think the bold lines may make it look really cool. So we're going to sort of darken this up around the outside edge. We're going to go ahead and create a new layer, separating this. Set this to maybe add in the center. We're going to really give it a nice cool centerpiece. Going to go around the edges, making it look nice and like an orb almost. And we're going to go ahead and duplicate the layer. We're going to go above and we're going to clip, set this to maybe add and gauge and blur it out. That doesn't look too bad. I think we can move all of this up though. We can move all of this up and maybe even above the lines. Maybe we got a bit bold there. Let's move that underneath again. You really enjoyed the warm sunset? I'm glad you did. It was quite a fun one to do. I quite enjoyed doing it, but I'm glad you did as well. We've got a couple of we've got a landscape tutorial next month as well. So see there already, we've got a little bit of a light source going on. That's what I'm aiming for. But we're gonna sort of gauge everything off of this. These lines here look absolutely, at the minute, I hate these lines. I don't like how they came out. They look rubbish. Let's erase them. They look just super naff. They don't follow any particular pattern. They don't look very good. Let's redo it. This line comes across here and then runs across into there. And we will do that exactly with the colour. Oh, why is that? Cool. Oh, do you know what, the Halloween tutorial did very well. Very well. I'm very pleased with it. Came out, everybody enjoyed it, which was great. Got a good amount of views. I think I was expecting it to do okay, to be honest with you, but it really did come out very well. Everybody seemed to like it, and I'm glad it's on the channel. It's just something there that will then sit there sit there all the time for each year, so that's fun. And obviously we did the paper cut out last year as well, so there'll be I saved all the throwbacks of all those types of things for like the Halloween period itself. So there's lots of stuff I can throw back to at some point. I'm going to move this hamster reference image right to the top, so when I turn it on I can just see roughly the colours. So we've got like a little bit of the darker tone into the lighter tone, which is just round here, so into this bottom area and round on the front of the lip there. So we are going to go ahead and let's go to the face layer. Just start doing anything really. Let's see what we can do. Yeah, I do get self-critical. It's because I want it to look a certain way, and when it doesn't for so long, you know, at the very early stages of a drawing, it bugs me. Just going to add in the basic colours first of all, and then maybe add in shading and stuff on top of that afterwards. This had a little bit of colour under here, just faded up and around. Okay. I'm going to just create a new layer. I'm going to colour burn it. If you'd have seen, what tutorial was it recently? We did colour burning. It really oh, it was exactly that. It was the warm sunset one, and just use it to create darker tones of the tone you're using. So we can just start to darken up under here, darken up under the nose, darken up in this bridge of the nose, under here too, and then also around the eye. There's a nice colour in there. You can add in some nice warmer tones on the edges here. You can do the odd little streak and stuff on top, just to sort of add in some extra colour on top of these lighter areas, which will look quite nice. And also if we round that off a little bit, darken up underneath this metal plate, which is going to sit there. Underneath here, so I'm going to use the selection tool quickly and just go round through our line work, go all the way around, create a nice big selection, so that I can then darken up under here without intruding into the space underneath. And I'm actually going to invert that selection, so I can only deal with the space underneath and create the corresponding shadows underneath here as well. And then also we're going to round off the chin, I think. Round off the chin. Thank you, Jay. We will finish it. We'll get it done. What's the time? 1:20. That's cool. Okay, a little bit more colour in there. Let's start to be bold with the highlights and the shadows a little bit more. So we're going to get the darker tone under here now. So we're going to darken this up underneath the hat. I want this to have quite a dark look to it. Like this is the only bright bit, as well as the screen that's going to be here as well. So I want this to be quite dark underneath the helmet. I want it to be kind of dark under here. We can always come back in here and tone it down afterwards. Like a good amount of darkness under there. And now I need to get a bit smaller with my shadows and start to underneath this metal plate that's going to sit on the hamster's face. That one's probably a bit too extreme. I'll undo that for a little bit. Go back in. Just darken this up under here. Yeah, guys, in the chat, try and think of a random name for the samurai. You can name him or her. We'll add in some shadows on the bridge of the nose as well. Maybe tone that down a little bit. Okay, cool. Let's move out to... I want to move on to the helmet area. Yeah, so down here and then this bit here. We're going to duplicate this layer. We're going to set it to add. And we're going to Gaussian blur it. So we're going to make that look really cool. Clipping mask. Again, the bold outlines are probably not going to help, but I did see somebody recently, and this is actually kind of a cool idea, actually start to colour in the line work. So they coloured in based on the colours around it, and it looked really effective. So I think we may do something like that, but you can already see this has got a bit of a glow to it, which is going to look nice. And just out of curiosity, what would that look like if we were to do like a clipping mask of this colour and just sort of draw it into the line work, you know? Oh, that's cool. Need to tidy up a little bit of this, but you get the impression of just colouring in the line work around it, which obviously gets rid of that really bold look to it. It's something we could do. Something we could do. We'll come back to it though. The helmet is what I wanted to work on next. I'm creating lots of clipping masks just because we want to be in full control of all the layers. Now I want to give this a metal look in a second once I've got sort of the basic shadows in and stuff. So this is going to sort of round off at the bottom. Once we're blocking in all these shadows around the shape of the actual helmet, and even sort of round the very top edge. Cool, let's grab that yellow, create another layer. Really emphasize how big and bright that area is. Let's get block in all the main colours first of all. kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Bloody ridiculous. Right, okay. Okay, we've got some of the basics in there. We've got want to work on the outside parts there quickly, which is here. I'm mainly going in and adding shadows because they're relatively straightforward to add in most of this. So this will just be really dark with the odd little bit of lighting touching it. But it's going to be afterwards where we add in the chamfered metal look, where a lot of this will then start to get a little bit of texture, a little bit of colour. Although this has been quite fun though so far, to get this sort of random, almost Darth Vader hamster looking thing together. It looks like a bit like a lion, doesn't it? We need to add in maybe more of the whiter tones. A bit more like that in the face. Okay, the metal everywhere on the body. The purple on the edges. We could probably just start to darken that up now. Okay, I think this is going to be the bit that really brings this to life a lot more, and this is going to be the sort of shadows in all of this area here. So we're going to select a shape first of all, so I can just colour within that only. Yeah, and we're going to add in the correct shadow underneath the plate above. So the plate above is layered on top. That's how all these are done. And then we're going to come across the piece here. We're going to darken up just into here a second and darken across here a bit more. I don't know whether to start adding in the chamfered look as we go, because I feel like that makes most sense to try and do as we go, because these are the bits now that are going to really take effect. So let's try it. Switch our colour, drop our opacity. Let's just add in some bright metal line work in there. You may want to make that really small and kind of scratchy. So I've undone that because we're going to go and do an arm at a time. So I think we're going to go ahead and select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to then mask this layer to those parts only, so that I can block in the highlight. I need to trying to visualize the whole design by blocking in the shadows and whatnot, so I can get a real idea for where the lighting's coming from. The lighting is always key. I say this all the time because it lets you know exactly what's going on for every corresponding layer around it. So let's see if we can roll with that. Let's darken up around here. I think we'll go in shortly as well and start to maybe address some of the metal body, so the line work as well. So shadows are going to be casted under here. Under the chin area. Under this plate here is going to cast a shadow. Definitely here too. And then the underside of each plate is in fact going to have a shadow underneath it too. And we can't go too dark because we've got a big old gem there, or sort of core. So we're just going to bring in the shadows on the sides. Also the shadow from the stuff around it. Trying to be a bit bolder with the shadows under there. Now they're definitely going to start casting shadows because of the way that the line work is going to work. So we're going to push those shadows down. Again, I have no idea who's in the chat today because it's not showing for me at all. So be sure to say hello in the chat if you are watching. Let me know who's hanging out with us so far in this pretty weird stream. Weird in terms of the concept, what we're drawing today. It's not a normal thing to do, but I wanted to try something a little bit different and use a random idea generator, which is giving us a pretty weird idea of a cyborg samurai hamster. Milo's still here, awesome. Can you guys see how many is in chat? I think you can, can't you? You can see how many people are watching. Troy's still here, of course. Probably waiting to gift, no doubt. Right. That's got some cool shadows on it. Definitely different, but loving it. It is very weird, very different, but we shall see how it turns out. Right, let's start to think maybe about adding colour to the line work. It looks kind of cool because it gets Troy. I'm not sure there's enough people in the chat to do that for. I don't think that's going to work, but dude, I appreciate you. You are extremely generous with supporting everybody in the chat. I was only joking. But dude, I appreciate you looking after everyone. Hopefully there's enough for it to roll round to, but I'm not sure there will be. See that line, what do we reckon? Bold or with a little bit of colour on it? It needs to be maybe like that tone, but just a smidge lighter so that I can just start to introduce that into these areas here. No, I think we'll roll with it. I think we'll roll with just some very loose colouring of the lines. Okay, cool. Gotcha. Oh god, I keep changing my mind. Okay, let's start going back in and making this red really look like it really does have a glow. I want it to really take over the whole piece. I want it to dominate the whole design. So we're going to look at the face one more time. And we're going to give it one coat of just black to start with. I want to drop it down loads of shades, and so that in a minute when I add in the highlights, I want the area, certain areas to be much brighter, and just very much that this is just dominating the whole design. So this is where things could start to look quite nice and fun. Let's work on the face. Let's work on the face. Crash Mat Warrior was gifted a membership by Troy. Troy, you are too nice to this community. But I appreciate you nonetheless. Right, let's start. Oh, excuse me. Sorry if that is like gone out of speakers at all or something like that. GM Bob as well, gifted by Troy. Again, I want this to be the dominating sort of light source, so coming from the bottom for a minute. We'll go around the bottom area of here, go all the way around. Really sort of very light coat to start with, and then we'll build up from there. You can already see that sort of the idea and the concept coming to life a bit more. You can see like the underside down here, we're going to brighten this up a bit more. We'll use the add tool afterwards to really go in with the colour, but you can see what I mean? It's a little bit too bright on the edges, but it's okay. And then maybe introduce the tiniest little bit of colour in here too, just a little bit for now. I don't want to overdo it too early. I think the nose could also definitely do with like a little bit of colour. Oh, didn't do that right. Definitely the underside of the nose, just drifting round the tiniest bit. That's cool. Let's think about the metal areas. So we've got all of these metal areas here. So what is, I need to work out what I've done with all these masks. This layer here is the left hand panel, so we're going to duplicate that because it's got a mask on it, and we'll clear it so we can just use the mask again. And then we can start adding in some oh, crush, sorry, let me catch back up. Sorry, excuse me. I know, how weird is that? Jay, you're always here and you've never been gifted one. Funky's liking it, and Crash Mat Warrior says, love following the tutorials. Hope one day I'll get to the stage I can draw. Get to the stage I can draw from imagination. Gotcha. I'm sure you could do that already, my friend. I'm sure you could do that. practice though. Practice, practice, practice. And I'm glad you're enjoying the tutorials though. Cool. That's looking nice. We can start to really want to make sure that this is definitely having a big impact on everything around it. So whether or not we get quite bright with the glows. But there we go. We've got a little. This bit of the arm though would probably take away a little bit of the lighting. So I can push the lighting around here, but not here where the arm's in the way. And then what we're going to do afterwards, and it's maybe worth me trying to do it now, is clear this layer, set this layer to add, same color, but just start to go in here and start to add in, you know, really nice big bright highlights. If not even maybe white, might be a bit too much, but just to really emphasize the lighting. Very tentative there. Yeah, a little bit of something like that. I think the white looks cool, and maybe we'll come back to it, but it's something I need. It's the next step basically. So we add the base sort of colors in here first and then move on from there. And we need to add more of a glow to the center anyway. So let's go down to here now. Is it this one? Yeah, so we'll create a new layer above there. And we'll start to go back in with the red again and see how it goes. Oh yeah, Jay, I think you might actually need to turn that on. That is something I remember when we first started doing them, that a lot of people did have to turn on a feature where they're allowed to be permitted to be gifted. So just check that out potentially. I definitely remember that being a thing when it first started. So we're going to end up with lighting here, spilling down from the top to these areas here. Maybe a tiny bit onto here. It's going to start to get blocked out a little bit by everything else around it. Cool. We need to do the sleeves while we're working on that area. I hope you're enjoying this. It's definitely a random topic for us to be looking at, but it's something fun. It's something a bit different. It's definitely challenging for me because I need to you know, if it was like so if this was normal and like normal scenario, and you know, I'm just drawing, I would be able to step away. So I would be able to step away if I didn't like it, sort of thing, but we're going to crack on regardless. Jay, I've got no idea where you asked to do it. Isn't it you click on the bit at the bottom? Cat's here, how you doing, Cat? Look at you with your silver badge. I think you're only one of 2 people that have got that silver badge. That means you've been a supporter, isn't it, for a year, over a year as a YouTube member with the silver badge. And 2 years is gold. Crash Matt Warrior says, thank you, Milo and Joel. I only started drawing this time last year when I got my iPad, and I was very wary after many an art lesson at school and being told I wasn't a natural fit for art. Well, whoever told you that, because anybody can draw. There's so many styles that will fit your ability, and your ability is not fixed. Your ability is something that you can do better, and you can continue to grow your skill set. So whoever told you that is a douche, and you can absolutely pick a style that fits your needs and be as patient as you want and grow as long as you like with your style. So that's quite frustrating to hear, but not for your part, obviously. Oh, actually, I've just realised we didn't do. I didn't. Well, it's not we. Sorry, you guys ain't done anything wrong. It's me. This screen of sort here hasn't been done, so we need to design something to go in there. Or did I make that a layer? Doesn't look like I did. So in here, we're going to go ahead and create something that's like, kind of like a glass screen. I wanted it to be relatively white, quite bold, but with a glowing eye as well. That white might be a bit heavy in there. Yeah, that's better. And then correspondingly now I need to update all the layers underneath it. That's kind of cool. Sorry. Oh, that's awesome, Crash Map. I'm glad you'll be able to look back and look at the things you've changed and look at the thing how you've grown and just see all the different, different bits that you now do as part of your designs. There's a few layers we've still got work to do on, like the knuckles and stuff. Where are we at? A good while into this. Because there's like 3 light sources as well, I'm like being very kind of irritable and jumping about all of the different areas that the of all the light sources, because we've got this one here as well, just sort of landing down. So I do crash. Joel helped me so much to improve his tutorials and challenges, helped me out a lot. I got to the point where, like, this, not this week, this month's been quite hard month for me for reasons of like burnout, very much. Still power through in it though, but you say there about sort of crashing and stuff in terms of maybe energy, I'm presuming, but yeah, definitely a tough month this one for moi. Comes in waves all the time. I spoke to a friend who I've met through the sort of social space, and he was mentioning that he actually has taken time off from doing his stuff for a while. He had enough content, which was lucky enough for him to do so. But yeah, he's taken a big break from it, which I was a little bit jealous of. Only the fact that he's got lots of content ready to go, it means that he's got like the option. It's quite an interesting thing, the whole burnout, whatnot. Making sure it's avoided, especially in this space, it's quite tricky. Okay. Alright, so let's go back to all these arms and whatnot. Where are we? We're over here now. Let's clear that layer. Let's start adding in the red. I'm hoping this is going to start making it sort of feel a bit more cohesive. And that looks a bit bright. Is it this tone? It was. Nice little bit of red here, especially on this plate here. And this one. And this one too. The shadows there as well, we're going to go down a layer and we're going to start to think about the fact that there'll be a shadow under here and a darker little sort of pit in there, the armpit. A nice shadow under there and on the back side especially, and then here maybe as well we're just streaking some lines. Let's see what that looks like. Cool. Although this one is on top, it will still cast a shadow underneath, even though there's a light source, and likewise here too. Let's try and take a little chunk out of there. Nice, and let's then go back to this side and start to implement those shadows on here too, because that was quite reassuring that the piece is coming together there. By just adding in some extra shadows around the side here, underneath all the plates where the light is not touching because the plates stack on top of each other. Yeah, I think it did go into night shift. There you go, it's gone out, it's less warm than that. CC, how is your son doing? Well, you guys are getting some mad storms, aren't you, over there? I had a few setbacks, but things will get better. They will indeed. Just takes time, doesn't it? Okay. Trying to think of a way that I can maybe like chuck in some texture in here without like going in and doing line work on everything. Let's go back to the face again and start to see what really nice lighting we can add in as well. So I'm thinking maybe red, or is that too? Oh no, that looked quite nice. That really shows how bright that center point is. I feel like you guys must have paid Mrs. Create, you know, a little bit of cash or something, because I showed her the. You remember was it last week or the week before? No, it was last week. I drew the design for the Halloween pumpkin. Took like 3 hours to do. And I showed her the next day. I was like, look what I drew last night. She was like, oh, that's really cool. That's awesome. I said, yeah, it was great. It was like, you know, fun to just draw for me. And I was like, what do you mean, just draw for me? And I was like, well, you know, like, I'm not going to make this into a tutorial because it's too long. She was like, why are you not making it into a tutorial? And I was like, what the hell? I'm like, who sent you some money? Like, what's going on? And she's like, no, I just think it would do really well. And I'm like, yeah, it probably would do, but it's 3 hours long. I was like, oh, jeez. I can't get a break. I can't ban her. You know, I can't, you know, give her a 5-minute timeout. Yeah, no, I banned her. I've got to be consistent, and do you know what I mean? I saw it. I'm just going to start banning her. I was just thinking, like, it's 3 hours long. You won't be getting any dinner at that rate. Lay the hammer down. It's got to be done. Bit of discipline. Stop making silly remarks. Saying that much for free. Right. This bit of lighting now is really starting to look really cool. I'm starting to just add in little lines as well, just where just trying to use the last little bit of like the highlights here, just to add in that metal look. You can see it on the arms and stuff. I need to add a bit of a glow as well from the center in a second anyway, because these ones ain't cutting it. So we'll add some extra glows right at the top. What's this layer at the top? Damn, I've got so many layers in here now. I'm starting to lose where I am. Shadows. Yeah, definitely deja vu from that tutorial for sure. I guess it's like just putting those things in practice, isn't it, Milo? Of like things that I've learned and then working out how I can reapply them. But also applying like lighting techniques and stuff, and just little things like that. I want to see something. This is probably going to throw the whole design off. If I set this to add a second and I make this big, give it a big glow, obviously it goes a bit nuts. So I've kind of done it manually. It kind of looks better like that, I would argue. But there just needs to be a bit of a brighter look towards the center. You know, maybe a bit more like that. If not, a bit whiter. Rather than red, because the red's not... See, like that looks cooler already. It's got a little bit of colour in there. What's up, Tono? Got a little bit of colour in there, but it's not, you know, it needs to be like that, you know, it needs to be really bright if it's going to be casting a light onto the rest of everything else. Oh man. where's that shape gone? Oh my god, these layers are mad. Is this even a layer? It's not a layer, that's why. There we go. It looks kind of cool, I guess, yeah. Oh, Tono's your kid. Oh, I'm with you now. I'm with you. What's going on? What's up, Tono? Glad you're here. You can keep your mum in order. She always misbehaving in there. Oh, Antonio, gotcha. Haven't I said happy birthday to you before? Listen, Tono, it's your Uncle Joel here. We haven't met before, but your mum's a nightmare. Your mum is the only person ever to get banned from this live stream. Get timed out. So if she ever tells you that you're misbehaving, it's rubbish. It's absolutely rubbish. She got banned in public on this live stream. Don't you dare let her live it down either. You enjoy that little bit of gossip. I say gossip, more like common knowledge, but you need to know. Misbehaving. She's a nightmare. She really is. As if you spotted him in the his username. Oh yeah, I suppose the surname Diaz as well. What I'm not happy about the fact though is, you know, Diaz isn't a member. You know what I mean? What's going on? Nah, your mum is a very wonderful woman, wonderful lady. I found this V. The only way to opt in during the beta is to click allow gifts and then the announcement of someone purchasing gift membership in live chat. Yeah, so Jay, I think underneath the underneath the chat there's the option of like the symbol of the money. You can then click on that and that gives you your option. Okay. Again, as always, I'm just going to say this is not coming off as bright. This is coming off a bit brighter than what this is. That looks a bit blown out, and I've actually tried to be a bit more careful with the colours there than actually looks like. So just bear that in mind. I'm just going to go back to this sleeve here on the left because I've got a feeling if I was to clear that and set that to maybe white, that I could maybe get rid of adding in some like not red, not white on red, no. Do we add that onto the line work at the top to take this to maybe another level? Definitely seems to take away. It looks kind of cool. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's actually stick to it this time as well. Let's make the line work around in certain areas where the light in is catching underneath. We're going to make the line work red to blend it out. and also just give it a bit more colour that matches up to everything that's going on. So a little bit of colour on these. These look pretty cool. Like I said, I saw somebody doing this on TikTok, I think it was. Up here at the top, we'll grab this yellowy gold colour. Do the same up there too. So sort of paint in some of these lines a little bit more with the other colour. A little bit on there too. That looks cool. I really like that actually. That looks really cool. Let's go to here. Let's go to around the eye and under there. Make those colours and the line work a little bit red. Let's just do some very quick work on these knuckles. I think I'm just going to make them black. And then maybe just go in there and just... alpha lock them. Grab the red. Let's grab the hamster finger colour maybe. Drag that into all of these spaces here. I've got a feeling Antonio's been told off, or Kat's gone in and told him off. He's missing from chat now. We lost him. It's a weird one, isn't it? It's a weird one for today. The line work looks kind of cool. No, this random bit at the bottom, I forgot about that. What if we set the background colour to black now everything's been coloured in? Oh, that looks much better. A random cyborg samurai hamster. That was the random subject. This is what we've come out with. Do I want to proceed any further, or do I want to leave it be? I'm trying to think what else you would even add to that, you know? It's kind of cool, isn't it? Again, it's quite fun to try something that is going to be very tricky to draw. You know, something very random. that little bit in the eye, truth be told, should probably be a little bit less dominant. If anything as well, we can maybe get away with adding a bit of colour into the eye as well. Maybe where just the underside, it's a little bit like that. Again, try not to, it's a bit overexposed on the camera. I keep looking at it so I can make sure I can see what you guys see. Maybe this bit at the top could do with like a bit more of a glow. I've not really focused on that very much. Now, what if we were to just go like round and round up there to really emphasize that, which helps in a way because that helps make my shadows look a bit more understandable. Also makes these ears look like they should have a bit of colour on them, which is kind of cool. Tao Samurai is the name we've given him. It's cool with me. What if we grab this red here and maybe just see what it looks like if we like tap a few times in the center there, just to see what other lighting we can add in. Lighting's always my favorite bit, you know, something like that actually looks kind of cool, but it's too much. Too much. Oh, what if we added in like a lens flare from it so we can see how bright it is? I think I have a lens flare collection actually. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. See what we got. Oh, we didn't add in like the neon-y lines, and to be truth be told, I'm glad we didn't. But we didn't add any of that stuff in. What we're looking for, lens flare, wasn't it? Lens flare. There we go. So something a bit like that would look really cool if we like could get the right effect. So like tap that in the center there and change that to a layer effect that like looks cool, like screen looks cool. You know, rotate that so it's not so straight on, but you know, popping it through the center like that. Maybe even make it even bigger. You know, something a bit like that as an idea. Again, it's looking a bit too overexposed on the screen. Overlay looks quite nice. Let's try a different flare maybe. What about this one? That looks cool. I want to try a few things. I always like to, you know, want to try and take it to another level. So let's just copy all and paste and see what we can do with maybe like hue saturation for a start. See if we can. Pink looks pretty sick, to be fair. That looks really cool. It loses the red in the eye, but I'm sure I could colour that back in. But green looks sick. That green looks rubbish. Gold in the center looks cool. Yeah, that was cool. Okay, let's see if there's anything we can do maybe with the curves. And if I bring this down a little bit, can we focus more in on the lighting by darkening up around the sides? I would argue that that actually is a good effect. And you know, these are obviously going to make it a bit brighter, but we can maybe drop that down in certain areas or increase it just to see what we can come up with. That blue did look cool, didn't it? Cat, make sure you drive home safe. Let's try gradient map as well. Let's see what cool stuff we can see in here. My black and white, gradient. That looks kind of cool. None of those I like. Let's try some layer effects maybe. So move it off to the left so we can all see. Let's start at the top. Multiply to dark. Everything above normal pretty much is going to be nice and dark, but we don't want it to be that much darker. Everything down now is going to most likely adjust lighting and make it a bit more vibrant once we get past vivid light, I believe. No. So what if we blur the design? This is probably quite a weird thing to see. And then roll through the layer effects. So kind of add like a really hazy look to it. Oh, that looks so cool. That's like so it's really hazed out the whole design. It makes it look really kind of misty. If I turn that off, you see there, that's what it looks like without, and then that's what it looks like with. I like it because it gives it a really very light, very glowy, very glowy is probably the best word for it. That looks really cool. Let's carry on going through though. Lighten looks very cool. Lighter colour is arguably better. Is it lighten? Lighten and lighter colour. They do have very subtle differences. Okay. Overlay maybe, no. Hard light, no. That looks sick, but it's not the right one we want. I think I like lighten and lighter colour. They do different pieces to the line work. I think we'll just maybe roll with lighten and maybe lower it down the tiniest bit. Like, to me that looks really, really cool now because it looks like the lighting has come to life. Almost like a character in a game. I'm glad we did that. That bit looks cool. We would need to add like little bits of lighting to the top. The blue. Okay, let's go back down. Let's go down to I'm thinking like, yeah, glimmer or like something like this where we could just make it look a bit sort of magical in a way. I'm not sure that's the vibe I should be going for. Just a little something around the design. See what we can come up with that looks cool. I think magical is the wrong vibe, isn't it? It's not the look we should be going for. I'm wondering if there's like a... Do you know what though? In the end, I'm actually very happy with it. I'm actually happy with that last little bit of adding the glow. That's what it is for me. Like, to add in the little light in there. It just takes away some of the, you see how harsh the line work is that we did initially, and just adding that in really just crushes that black down a little bit, crushes it down. You can do that in the curves normally, but yeah, I think it does actually look pretty cool. No, Jay, you should be able to accept gifts. You should just be able to be gifted them. But I do remember a lot of people potentially having to turn it on. As to where, I just don't know, I'm sorry. Yeah, it does look cool. Oh guys, a really cool change happened on Patreon. Maybe it's not cool, I don't know. When the day you sign up now and you join Patreon is the same day you're then charged every month. Kind of like Netflix, if you join on the 14th, you're charged on the 14th every month thereon. Patreon was really annoying because you would sign up on the, say, 28th, and then you get charged again on the 1st, and then the 1st again every day after, every month after. So that has been fixed, thank God for that. So I've switched straight to that billing method, so it should be good for me because it will help with a lot of people joining later on in the month. I was always really scared of like promoting Patreon later on in the month when I know that, like, I wouldn't do it because I know that people would just get charged again in a couple of days. So yeah, it's been fixed, thank God. Let's just do something for a second because I want to look at the timeline of this, because I started this off, so we had a concept of the hamster which we took the body sort of composition from, then drew all the pieces on top. We did go with a mask initially, worked out some cyborgy stuff, and then drew in all the line work, and then we got to this point here where the line work was all done. Now at this point, not gonna lie, I'm looking at it thinking there's a lot we've got to do here to make this look anywhere near cool, or some sort of fun design. But as we roll through it, we had the basics of the shadows and the contouring of the face and stuff, then add in some bigger shadows and get a bit braver with adding that in. Moving on to the glow of the top piece, and then again blocking in the basic shadows all the way around, very basic bits. The edges of the arms, the underside of the face, the underside of the arms, then sort of around the waist, and then underneath some of the panels. Expressing that glow again at the top, and then this is where we got into the lighting, where we just completely took all the colour out of the face, dropped it down, and then applied highlights on top. So we've still got all of our work in there, but we just used a darker layer on top just to show highlights. So then we start getting into very basic highlights where we're just placing them into the positions, and then it's at this point, you can see it in the face, we jump to more the brighter tones of the highlights, like the surface areas that are being hit by the lighting the most. Also adding in some sort of line work here on the arms, get the cyborg part in and the glow around that and whatnot. And then this is where we start to paint in the lines just to get rid of the harshness of the dark tones, and then the fingers, and then we're messing around at the end here, adding in some more lighting, a lens flare from the middle, blurring that out, messing around, and then we ended up here with a very fun, cool finished design, which I'm genuinely pretty pleased with. I'm pretty pleased with it. It looks cool. I just love lighting in a design. Again, this center area, I keep looking at the camera because this has been blown out completely in comparison to what it should look like. Actually maybe if we made that and lower the opacity down just a smidge, for me, it's just the lighting, staging, everything always brings it to life. That's why I like doing dark designs a lot of the time, because they look so cool. Dark designs and then using the highlights. And we're not interested, like, here's just darkness. There's loads of stuff missing there because, like, the edge of the shoulder, the back area there, but it's just gone and it's fine just to use highlights only kind of thing. It's cool. I'll share this on Discord in a second because you guys should see what it looks like properly. But yeah, just a little bit of fun. I challenge you guys to do it. Like, head to the website, which was randomthingstodo.com. Head there and it will give you a random prompt and you can hit next if you don't like it. Dogs that look like hot dogs. I can imagine that straight away. So, you know, and maybe this is your random challenge a day. Maybe come to this website or any other random generator. I like this one because it gives you something and then a follow-on subject to go alongside it. A dog that looks like a hot dog. So it's, you know, there's two things. You've got the component, the main part, the focus, and then there's the effect sort of on top of it, i.e. a hamster that's dressed like a samurai and is also a cyborg. A cat hugging another cat, that could be cool. You could imagine like two silhouettes of two cats and then just one with its arm up and around on the back. Just something very simple like that, you know, but that'd be kind of a cool design. So the website again is randomthingstodo.com. Not affiliated in any way, just wanted to use it to create something cool, something different, something fun, that you guys can see that I've not done before, kind of thing, just to test my abilities as well and test your own. So what else is there in it? A happy hamburger, easy, very easy one to do that one. Just some really cute, very, you know, those really cutesy art designs where it's got just like black circles for eyes and a very small tiny mouth. Just a very simple little smile. Easy. And have fun drawing in all the different layers of a hamburger sort of thing. So yeah, listen, I'm very grateful for you all as always hanging out while we just drew this Cyborg samurai design. I'm going to call it a wrap though because I'm starting to get a bit of an headache from concentrating on that one for quite a while now, just over 2 hours. Again, I appreciate everybody for hanging out. I've got no idea how many people are here. I don't even know if I'm talking to myself, but thank you so much for hanging out. Troy, I've just seen your name pop up again. Appreciate you dropping all, I think it was 30 in total gifted members. You're looking after this community, my friend. You are making sure everybody's got a badge beside their name. I'm truly grateful for your support and looking after everybody and with all the gifted memberships. So have a wonderful day yourself, and to everybody else as well for hanging out. I appreciate you. Everybody take care. If there's storms near you, you're in my thoughts. I appreciate you hanging out even though you've got a lot of things going on, and likewise, you know, Sissy with a lot going on in your life as well. You're all very wonderful people and I'm very grateful for all of you. So new tutorial of course on Friday, it's of course coming out Friday, and don't forget to like the video. You can join my Discord in the link down below. If you want to come and join my Patreon, there's a link in the description as well. And there is also a link where you can go and see all the designs you unlock. We're nearly at 50 designs. We will be next month. So when you join my Patreon, you'll nearly get 50. And if you join now, you'll get 50, including the other ones. To anybody that's been gifted a membership, I want to see you in the comments. I want to see you dropping comments everywhere. I want to see your little badge. Comment on all my videos, whatever you want to do. I'll see you in all of them. We do these live streamed every Wednesday, pretty much every Wednesday, unless I'm not feeling in the creative space. But I, you know, I wanna see all your faces, all you new guys in the chat. I appreciate you hanging out. And I'm watching all your comments come in now. So listen, have a wonderful day, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for spending the time with me as always, and I'll see you again next week. And keep an eye out for the tutorial on Friday. Oh, and go and please go and support the special guest. Go to my channel, find the special guest tutorial, and please go and subscribe to them. Share the love and subscribe to all the special guests in the playlist. So go and check that out. That'll be the last thing I ask of you, I promise. Thanks for hanging out. Peace.